Thank you for tuning in to this week's movie news. I have some exciting updates to share, so let's dive right in. Today we'll cover a few key topics. First up, we got some information regarding Spider-Man 4. We have Matt Reeves giving us some insights for The Batman Part 2. We finally know what movie Christopher Nolan's upcoming film will be. Over the weekend, we also received the trailer for Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, set to premiere on Disney+. I'm eager to share my thoughts on that. We'll explore these topics and much more in this week's movie news. Now, let's jump into our first subject. To kick things off, let's talk about the trailer for Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. I've been eagerly anticipating this trailer since it was first announced 4 or 5 years ago. With just a month to go before its release, it's surprising that we're only now seeing the trailer. It doesn't exactly inspire confidence in the project, especially considering the various production changes it underwent. Initially intended as an origin story for Tom Holland's Spider-Man, it has now shifted to a separate universe and been rebranded from Freshman Year to Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Overall, it's refreshing to finally get a glimpse of the show's vibe, tone, and style. However, in classic Spider-Man fashion, I find myself a bit underwhelmed. While there are some positive aspects to highlight, I must start with my concerns. I'm struggling to embrace the animation style. While I'm glad if others appreciate it, it gives off a rather low bunch feel to me. I had a similar impression from some of the early screenshots of X-Men 97, but as we received more footage and actually watched the show, it didn't come across as low quality. The fight scenes were captivating and featured impressive visuals. However, I'm not feeling that same excitement here. Regarding the animation style, I appreciate the dynamic camera movements. While the animation itself may not be highly detailed, it seems like the camera will be quite active throughout the series, which I find appealing. Now that I have a better sense of the show, I'm not particularly fond of this interpretation of Peter Parker. It feels like they're overemphasizing the dorky aspect. In a modern Spider-Man series, there's a distinction between being a nerd and being a dork. A nerd can be intelligent and socially awkward, while a dork might make comments like this.
I remembered I left something in the bathroom. Deuces. Parker out.
This version of Spider-Man leans more towards the dorky side, and it feels forced with a bit too much emphasis on quips. These are the main aspects that are dampening my enthusiasm for the show. On a positive note, I do appreciate that we're returning to a street-level Spider-Man. I've been advocating for this with Spider-Man 4 and Tom Holland's films, wanting to see classic Spidey adventures grounded in the streets. For a significant portion of this trailer, it looks like we're getting just that. We're seeing street-level villains and Peter grappling with everyday challenges, like balancing a test with the need to help out when trouble arises. I find the Norman Osborn aspect of this show quite intriguing. Even though it's clear that this series isn't part of the main MCU timeline, it's fascinating to see that other heroes inhabit this universe, especially with the image of Captain America alongside Norman Osborn. Initially, it seemed like the show might simply replicate the Tom Holland storyline, but with Norman Osborn taking the place of Tony Stark. However, I suspect the narrative will diverge from that straightforward comparison. As I mentioned, I'm curious to see how this partnership unfolds and ultimately deteriorates, leading to the Green Goblin targeting this iteration of Spider-Man. That said, I'm feeling a bit underwhelmed at the moment. I'm certainly going to give it a chance. It's Spider-Man after all, but I won't pretend that while watching the trailer, I didn't find myself thinking, meh, what do you all think? I know there are plenty of fans who are incredibly excited about this. I'd love to hear your thoughts on what you enjoyed or didn't enjoy about the trailer. Additionally, I made a trailer breakdown going more in depth, so if you are interested, make sure to check it out. Now, since we are in the topic of Spider-Man, let's discuss Spider-Man 4 and the recent remarks from the Sony CEO regarding the underperformance of their spin-off films. The CEO's reasoning is quite perplexing. He appears to believe that films like Kraven the Hunter and Madam Web failed due to critical reception, stating these weren't bad films and blamed the press for crucifying them. However, let's be honest, if these films were truly exceptional, they would have garnered widespread acclaim. The disconnect with audiences isn't the critics' fault. The CEO's reluctance to acknowledge that the studio may have simply misstepped indicates a lack of self-awareness. Instead of taking responsibility, he shifts the blame elsewhere, which suggests they haven't learned from their mistakes and are unlikely to alter their strategy. On a more positive note, he did mention that Sony is reevaluating the future of Spider-Man spin-offs. They plan to pause these projects for the next 3 years to concentrate on Spider-Man 4, the Spider-Man Noir TV series, and other key initiatives. This seems like a wise decision, as not every character associated with Spider-Man can achieve the same level of success as Venom. Regarding Spider-Man 4, there are also some updates. Daniel RPK has reported that the script is encountering difficulties, and a finalized shooting draft has yet to be completed. Following the tremendous success of No Way Home, both Kevin Feige and Sony are feeling the pressure to produce something even more impressive. Currently, the intention is to begin filming in August, although delays remain a possibility. Additionally, Tom Holland has alluded to script challenges in a previous interview, mentioning that while they have a concept, the story requires further development.
We have a creative and a pitch and a draft, which is excellent. It needs work, but the writers are doing a great job. And I read it 3 weeks ago, and it really lit a fire in me. Zendaya and I sat down and read it together, and we at times were bouncing around the living room this is a real movie worthy of the fans' respect. But there's a few things we need to figure out before we can get that really going. But it's exciting.
It appears that Sony and Marvel are still determining the film's direction, possibly weighing whether it will focus on street-level elements or delve into the multiverse. Given its placement between Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars, a multiverse theme seems quite probable. There's ongoing discussion about which villains or story arcs might be featured. Null, who was rumored to be the main antagonist in Venom 3, may have been sidelined due to the film's reception. Additionally, the idea of characters like Mephisto or Ghost Rider appearing in Spider-Man 4 seems a bit far-fetched. Personally, I would favor a collaboration with Daredevil, as it feels more authentic and aligns better with Spider-Man's narrative. Overall, I remain optimistic. Director Destin Daniel Cretton has the ability to inject a new vibe into the film, particularly in the action scenes. However, if there are delays similar to those experienced with the Batman Part 2, it would be disappointing. At least Sony is taking its time, which could result in a fantastic outcome. What are your thoughts? Should Spider-Man 4 embrace multiverse chaos or focus on a more grounded street-level approach? Let's discuss The Batman Part 2. There have been some updates, both positive and frustrating. Unfortunately, the film has faced delays, which I previously explained in detail in another video. The main issue isn't solely related to the script. Insiders like Viewer Anon and Grace Randolph have speculated that personal matters may be contributing to Matt Reeves' slower pace. Some suggest he might be navigating personal challenges, possibly a divorce. If that's the case, we should be understanding. Directors have lives beyond their work, and these situations require time to resolve. Now, regarding the plot and recent insights from Reeves, over the Christmas period, he hinted at what we can expect in The Batman Part 2. Here are some highlights. In the first movie, Batman saw things in black and white. In the sequel, it's all about shades of gray, reflecting the division and unrest in Gotham, a lot like the world we live in now. Bruce Wayne will face a tough journey. The film will dig deeper into his character, exploring sides we haven't seen before. It'll stay true to the first movie's perspective. Everything unfolds from Bruce's point of view. A significant theme appears to be Gotham's corruption, which was hinted at in the first film's conclusion. This has led to speculation that the Court of Owls could serve as the primary antagonists. Their secretive and manipulative nature aligns well with Reeves' grounded storytelling approach. Additionally, it may prompt Batman to reevaluate his own methods. Is he truly different from them? If the Court of Owls is indeed the chosen direction, we might witness Bruce Wayne taking a more prominent role in addressing Gotham's challenges, particularly if Batman finds himself sidelined. The dynamic of Bruce versus Batman presents an intriguing avenue for exploration. Let's discuss the villains. Fans are suggesting names like Clayface, Hush, Scarecrow, and Mr. Freeze. While Hush is a strong contender, he doesn't excite me as much as other options. I would prefer to see some side villains shine, similar to how Penguin stood out in the first film. As for Mr. Freeze, Reeves. He's my top choice. A winter-themed film set in a snow-covered Gotham is perfect for him. After the campy portrayal in the 90s, a more serious interpretation of Reeves would be fantastic. However, we should consider that all these rumors might just be speculation. If the script isn't finalized, as James Gunn mentioned, can we really trust these leaks? Unless Matt Reeves is out sharing secrets at bars, nothing is confirmed. It's evident that Matt Reeves is dedicated to making this film exceptional, even if it takes time. The wait until 2027 feels long, but I believe it will be worth it. In the meantime, I just want an official confirmation of the villains to keep us engaged. What are your thoughts? Is the delay justified? Who would you like to see as the villain in The Batman Part 2? Let's dive into something that had me completely buzzing earlier this week. Christopher Nolan's upcoming film has been revealed, and it's a major announcement. So here we go. We now officially know that Nolan's next project is the Odyssey. You know, the legendary tale from Greek mythology about Odysseus's epic 10-year journey back home after the Trojan War. I have to say, when I first heard this, I was ecstatic. Greek mythology has fascinated me since childhood. This feels like a dream come true. Here's the cast lineup. Matt Damon as Odysseus, which is the hero himself. Tom Holland as Telemachus, which is Odysseus's son. Anne Hathaway, Lupita Nyong'o, and Robert Pattinson are also part of the ensemble. This cast is absolutely incredible. The film is being described as a mythic action epic, and I am all in for that. What really excites me is that we're talking about Christopher Nolan here. He's known for crafting intricate, grounded narratives, even when he ventures into sci-fi with films like Interstellar and Tenet. But Greek mythology? That's on another level. Just think about what a Nolan interpretation of Zeus or Poseidon could look like. I can't wait to see it. There's a possibility he might take a more realistic approach. Some theorists suggest that the events in the Odyssey could have roots in actual history, and there's scientific research that supports certain aspects of the tale. However, I'm really hoping he embraces the fantastical elements. Bring on the gods, the magic, and the chaos. Nolan is a filmmaker I truly admire, but I have to admit that his action sequences can be hit or miss. We all recall those Batman fight scenes, right? They weren't exactly his finest moments. However, the action in Tenet and Inception was phenomenal, suggesting he may have found his stride. Regardless, I'm eager to see how he approaches the grand battles, the legendary journey ahead. The online reactions to this announcement were quite amusing. Some folks seemed unaware of what the Odyssey even is, and naturally, the film enthusiasts were quick to respond. Let's be real, not everyone has a perfect memory of their high school literature classes, so we should give people a break. Though, the Odyssey, Nolan's take on it, is on the way, and I couldn't be more excited. It's bound to be epic and thrilling, and I can hardly wait. What do you think? Are you excited for this? Would you prefer a grounded approach or a fully mythological one? What's your ideal version of this film? That wraps up the latest movie news for now. Don't forget to like and subscribe. As always, I'm Andrew. Take care.